What's up everyone, Maki here with another topic video. Twitch has announced a beta is coming for their new Twitch desktop app, which they talked about a little bit when they were talking about Twitch selling games. They were all like, hey, we're going to be selling games and you're going to be able to install them through a desktop app. And that actually sounded pretty cool. I was like, all right, so this is going to be like a storefront app, I assumed. I was sort of wrong, but sort of right on that point. So apparently, Twitch is actually going to be converting what used to be Curse, which if you don't know what Curse is, we'll talk about that in a minute. But essentially, they acquired Curse not too long ago. It was somewhat long ago, but not entirely too long ago. It was a few months, and I actually never even noticed that. So that was actually kind of a surprise to me. But apparently, they acquired Curse, the Curse app, and so they're actually turning that into a Twitch app. And so basically all the features that were with Curse are obviously going to be in this new Twitch app, along with a few extra features. They're going to be basically Twitchifying it, and so they're going to make it all Twitch branded. They're renovating it, so I assume that comes down to probably fixing some of the servers, maybe improving the quality, and obviously making it so it kind of goes along with a lot of the sort of Twitch stuff that they have going right now. And then it's also going to have the whole storefront aspects to where games that you buy through Twitch will inevitably be on that sort of service. And that's how you install your games and everything like that, which is pretty cool, actually. It has a lot more features than I ever would have expected from something like this. When Twitch was actually talking about a desktop app, I'm like, oh yeah, they're probably going to have like a chat integration so you can view streams or something like that. And then maybe have like a storefront sort of aspect to it. And I was like, yeah, that seems like something that they would do. This is actually a lot more than I ever would have expected from this, and it's actually pretty cool. So if you don't know what Curse was, or I guess is, I don't really know if they're going to stand side by side, but the beta, by the way, for this app actually comes out on March 19th, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but that's, I believe, what I remember seeing. And so basically the 19th, we'll be able to try all this out. But basically, what Curse was sort of an overall gaming app to where it actually had, like, it had chat stuff as well. So you could end up having your own little parties. You could create groups. You can end up chatting with people. It also had video chat, which I never got to use, so I can't speak to its quality. The voice chat was not particularly amazing, although I do feel like it's probably improved since the last time I used it. It also had screen sharing, which was actually pretty cool. It was still delayed and stuttery and stuff like that, but it was actually pretty decent as well and was low performance, which was pretty dang cool. It also had a bunch of other sort of overlay features as well. So let's say you were in game, like let's say you're in League of Legends, for example, you can end up having an overlay that would end up showing you extra timers and things like that. And it also had a feature to where you can end up having the voice and stuff like that on your thing, which is pretty common for these sort of voice apps as well. However, the kind of cool features that came into play when it comes into its final two sort of big features. One, it was able to actually tie into the games that you were playing. And so let's say you were actually playing League of Legends, for example. It would actually be able to tell which characters or which people were on your team. And then if they were signed in to Curse, you were able to actually invite them to your party. So you can end up having a very easy to use voice chat. So it was almost like an integrated system in a sort of way, because it was like, oh, well, now I'm just able to click this button and I instantly invite everyone that's in my party, which was actually really, really cool and made voice chat pretty easy. Unfortunately, not a lot of people used it, and so it kind of fell down as just sort of an obscure way that would every once in a while someone would be like, hey, you got Curse? And now everyone just asks if you have Discord, which we'll talk about Discord and its sort of competition in a minute. But essentially, the Curse app also had a feature where you were able to kind of configure mods for it as well. Now, I never used it, but according to the website, you were able to basically use modifications and game add-ons onto games. And so you could be like, oh, let's say you were using a texture mod or something like that. You can end up having that texture mod configured in there, and you could actually have it toggleable, make backups, or make versionings and everything like that, which was actually a pretty cool feature that I didn't even know it had. And so Twitch is also going to be able to have this in their desktop app. So all those features have been noted as being inside of this new Twitch app, and they're obviously going to Twitchify it. Now, I assume other types of features that are kind of a given in this sort of aspect is that, for one, they're obviously going to make it so you can watch streams on it, because if they didn't, that would be a little bit ridiculous. And it would also obviously have to have that whole storefront thing that they've ended up sort of talking about. Now, they did say that it's like, oh, you can install games through this app, but I definitely think that they're going to be trying to sell it on that platform, and I think that's definitely how they're going to be sort of trying to monetize the platform. Now, obviously, bits and things like that are probably going to play a big part in it as well, and so all this sort of things that they're already doing to sort of monetize Twitch in a whole is basically going to be in this sort of app, I believe. And so basically that seems like its main point. And also they've actually announced that it's going to actually tie into streams as well. And so let's say you're a streamer and you can actually end up setting your own server so that it ends up having your kind of chat and have it continue offline or whatever. So they have all this social features, which I feel like advertising these social features is a bit of a misstep in my sense. Like, yes, obviously say it's going to be in there, but they seem to be mostly targeting the app as like being a mainly social sort of thing to where it's like, oh yeah, well, you can continue chatting about your streaming and everything like that after the game is over and stuff like that. And it's like, all right, well, you know what? We already do that on stuff like Discord. And this is where the main sort of problems come into play. Curse was never doing particularly successful, and I kind of did a little bit of research on how Twitch kind of acquired them, and Curse was having a lot of problems sort of monetizing its platform. And that doesn't surprise me in the slightest, because how are you going to end up sort of supporting a free voice chat service, especially when you have so much competition in the space? And now, you know, Curse was before Discord, and it was losing to, you know, stuff like Skype and things like that. And now it has Discord, which Discord definitely has a higher quality of voice quality, at least a potential for higher quality, because you can actually set the server quality and everything like that. And I feel like Discord is going to be a huge competition, but I don't feel like Twitch is necessarily worried about that, because Twitch can end up doing a lot of things that Discord possibly couldn't. And so things like, let's say, integrating the chat fully. And so basically, you know, maybe the chat would be streamless or seamless between the two platforms. And so you'd be on the Twitch app and it would actually be the same exact chat you would see on the stream. And you could actually have a conversation already going before the stream starts. Or maybe you could have one going on afterwards and everything like that. And they can end up doing that because it is fully integrated, and that's actually a really, really cool thing. Now, I know people have actually built apps to do that with Discord and everything like that, but this would be official, and they'd be able to do a lot more kind of back-end things to make sure that it works properly, because these bots do have a fair amount of bugs. And so that's actually really, really cool. Like, the potential behind that is really, really awesome, and I definitely assume that stuff like Twitch Prime is going to play into this, so your Twitch Prime like bonuses and everything like that will probably start coming through in this app as well. So like, let's say there is a game that they gave away on the Twitch Prime thing, because they do that, by the way, then you'll probably end up installing it through the Twitch app and stuff like that. And I don't necessarily feel like the Twitch app is going to be replacing what they already do. Oh God, don't die. Oh geez, I'm having trouble on this fight if you haven't noticed in the background, but regardless, yeah, they're definitely going to be trying to push that, but they're not going to be sort of trying to replace other services, I don't think. I think it's one of those cases to where they're trying to make something that is sort of along the same lines, and then they're going to use a few features such as like buying games through and everything like that, which if you don't know anything about that, I ended up doing a video on it, but don't worry, it's not going to be like only on Twitch. It's like kind of things that you can end up installing on the Twitch app, and then you could also get keys for stuff like Steam and stuff like that. Or maybe not Steam, but they said Origin and Uplay, which, okay. But regardless, so it doesn't seem like they're actually trying to compete. They're rather just trying to fill out their ecosystem and make features that are going to be interesting to people that are within Twitch. And it could end up being a fairly good thing for streamers as well, because you can end up getting a lot of new like tools and things like that through this sort of service. And, you know, having a chat service for streaming could be very, very easy. They could have it so that you could do like, let's say you have two streamers who are streaming the same game and they're in the same thing, like that's a multiplayer stream or something like that. They could have it so that, you know, each person is streaming their perspective or whatever, which people like to do quite often. But you could also have it so it's like integrated into this app and everything like that. And so it'd make like, you know, kind of linking your accounts and linking your chats maybe. Like they could have the chats link and stuff like that. So there's a lot of possibilities that I could see with this app that would actually be really, really cool that only Twitch could really kind of do efficiently. Not that other people couldn't make bots and things like that. Like bots have been able to do quite a lot in the past. But regardless, I think this is actually a really, really cool move. And I'm really glad that they don't seem to be kind of trying to compete with everyone else and trying to just make something that is along the same lines, because there's no harm in having more than one. And I think that having, you know, stuff like Discord and stuff like that is important. But Discord also doesn't fully integrate into the Twitch ecosystem and is just a general gaming chat thing. And yes, there are systems to where you can use it to kind of integrate into other things, but at the same time, it doesn't integrate fully, and Twitch has a lot of potential with this app, and I really hope they don't end up screwing it up because I think it would be really cool. They also have the entire mod market as well to kind of go into because modding games is fairly complex in a lot of cases, and there's a lot of situations where I'd be like, I wish I had a manager for this game or something like that to end up making this modding system easier, and then maybe they can end up having like an API or something like that so they can end up setting up mods properly through the Curse app. Well, Twitch app, sorry. Twitch desktop app. They really need a new name for it, but regardless, I think this is really, really cool. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Michael with another topic video talking about the Twitch desktop app, which they're going to be releasing in beta on the 19th, I believe. And so basically really, really soon. I'll be doing an overview when it comes out. So if you're looking forward to that, go ahead and subscribe. You can also like for more content like this one. Like, comment, and subscribe. That's what I'm supposed to say. You can also leave your comments below as well of what you end up thinking about this. And are there things that I'm kind of overlooking? Are there features that you think that are going to be in there that I didn't end up mentioning? Because I know there's a lot of things that Twitch does. I'm not really into the whole Twitch ecosystem all that much. And so there's a lot of things that I'm not going to necessarily think about when I go into that because I'm not big on streaming. I don't follow a lot of streamers and that sort of thing. I mostly follow friends, and that's about it on Twitch. And so maybe I'm not the best market for this, but I actually think it's really, really cool. And I really like seeing Twitch kind of grow into its own thing, especially with the whole acquisition by Amazon. And this is definitely a push forward. Like when they ended up acquiring, Curse, I definitely feel like it was a move from Amazon to kind of expand their horizons in the gaming thing. And I never actually even noticed they acquired Curse. And Curse has just been kind of activating or running as usual, and so that's kind of an interesting thing. Also, I died. That's lame. Game in the background has been Dragon's Dogma. I am in an area I obviously shouldn't be in, so I'm dying a lot. But regardless, if you're wondering about what Dragon's Dogma is, I don't have any videos on it, unfortunately, but basically it is an RPG or action RPG thing, and it's actually really, really fun. My old machine had trouble running it, and so it would like stutter all over the place, and it was just kind of annoying to play. And I had a bunch of other games that ran perfectly fine, so I ended up playing those instead. And then I just never installed it on my new machine, and so now I've just started a new game, and I'm on my new machine, and it's running beautifully. And so I'm just kind of playing it. I also needed a game that I could play with a controller because my hands are super screwed up right now, and so I'm like, I can't play with a keyboard and mouse. I really wanted to play Torchlight, but it just couldn't do it. And so yeah, so that sucks. Hopefully my hand heals. But anyways, if you want to end up checking out my other types of videos, you can also check out my impressions review series, which basically the most recent one I did was for Alwa's Awakening, a retro style platformer that is actually fairly good. I do have some cautionary recommendations with it, but it is worth a check out if you like retro games and you like puzzle platformers. So that's one you should end up checking out. So yeah, you can also check out my other topic videos and my Let's Play stuff that I've ended up starting up doing. I'm playing through Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles right now, and it is actually a really cool game. One of my favorite games of all time, so go ahead and check that out. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this one, and I will see you guys in the next video. And hopefully I don't die to stupid bandits. I think I need a new dagger.